Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Now, folks, they will be closed tomorrow for Memorial Day, but you have until May 31st to take advantage of huge rebates on select models of G3 Suncatcher pontoons, Skeeter bass boats, Hurricane deck boats, and Godfrey Aqua Patio pontoons. We're talking rebates between $2,500 and $4,000. That's reason enough to get down to Highway 411 North in Madisonville. Madisonville Marine and madmarine.com. Now is the time to buy a boat, and let me tell you, there's no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine.
Can I add something?
Sure, quickly.
That's when you do want a Skeeter in your backyard.
That's when you do want to. That's very good. That's why you're on the show. Just for that, nothing else. You guys know where I stand on this, so I'm going to sit this one out and let you do your thing. I believe if teams want to talk about themselves being among the best in the country, they should schedule that way. Well, here's Tennessee's non-conference schedule. Let's take a look at this. If we've got it, waiting, no problem there. All right, I threw my director. I do that all the time. Good job, guys. Virginia and Nashville, they were 3-7 last year, but they were 1-7 versus Power 5 school. Their lone win against Georgia Tech by 7. Austin Peay, all right, they're in the FCS, so it doesn't matter, but they were 0-1 and they lost to Alabama by 34 when Alabama, I think, was up 34-0 at the half and basically ran the cheerleaders out for the second half. Texas San Antonio, 11-3 last year. Yeah, they were 0-1 against the one Power 5 school they played, and they lost by 21 at Texas. And UConn, 6-7. It was a good year for them last year, but they were 1-3 versus Power 5 schools. They beat Boston College by 10, but they lost to Syracuse, NC State, and Michigan by 30+ each. All right, Vol fans bought the tickets to Akron last year. They bought the tickets to UT Martin last year. If you're Danny White, why would you go out and schedule better than that? Wouldn't you do that every year? I'm sure Josh Heupel would take the wins and just be done with it. Schedule like Kentucky. Just buy yourself 4 wins. If the fans will take it, why not do that, gentlemen?
I bought the tickets last year, but I didn't go to. I went to the Akron game. I didn't go to the other games.
UT Martin.
I hate it.
But you bought the ticket.
But you got to buy. If you buy season tickets, you got to buy the
Exactly.
ticket.
Yeah.
So they got you, but I mean, you know, I've heard coaches get fired because you don't sell enough popcorn. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
what Roy
happened
Williams
here.
said, yeah.
But no, they can talk. I hate that scheduling.
Okay, so you say schedule, but give me a reason why you shouldn't do it.
Oh, I mean, I can't.
Just other than you hate it.
I can't.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't enjoy going over there watching a game where A, Tennessee's going to win big, and B, a player like Cedric Tillman's going to hurt his ankle and not be there for the rest of the season against the team that you shouldn't have even played Cedric Tillman.
It's basically a scrimmage. Okay. Guys, if you're Danny White or any AD, and if your fan base shows we're going to pack that stadium for the worst opponents you can give us, why would you play anybody good? Is there a reason?
Well, I would say you probably don't. If you're going to sell tickets and you're going to get wins, then you probably schedule to get the wins and get the money if it's rolling in, assuming you keep winning at a high level. The pushback would be if we find in the next few years when they go to a 12-team playoff that non-conference scheduling will be a factor and it will be held against you. If it's held against you who you are scheduling, similar to the NCAA tournament in basketball, then you need to beef up the schedule non-conference. But until that's proven, there's not much incentive right now. There isn't.
Vince, where are you?
Yeah, and that second point about the future scheduling with the 12-game playoff, I think that's one. Two is sustainability. You can't assume that everyone is just going to buy those not easy non-conference games. They did last year, but that hasn't always
They did in the
happened.
year before.
Yeah.
They did in the year before. And the year before, you had games where there were still 60,000 people in there.
Right.
Yes.
And you could tell they were better coached and kind of go in the right direction, still under Heupel, but it's not something I think is an automatic that you can assume. That's why I think you should beef up your schedule to some degree.
If you're going to do this with this lousy scheduling, okay, let's have UT or excuse me, Middle Tennessee State. Let's see Memphis.
Well, they don't play Memphis, but they've.
I mean, why are
MTSU's
you
too
scared
good.
of Memphis?
MTSU's too good. You don't want
You
them.
know, if you're going to do this, then bring in the other in-state schools, and beef it up somehow. But
Well,
the UT Martins, the Tennessee Techs, no, I have no interest in going over there.
John, here's another reason why I don't think it'll happen, because when the SEC goes to a 9-game schedule and you only have 3 of these non-conference, the chances of them adding a tougher one, we have one less and then one of those tougher, I would be surprised if they did that. But hey, if it's shown that you can do that and still get in a playoff from this
I would-
elite
Okay, we
conference?
gotta catch a
maybe
break.
they do.
Okay, that went longer than I thought it would. All right, when we come back, South Carolina, is that a real rivalry moving forward? It should be, I guess, and I'm going to show you the numbers that say it should be, but it's never become a real rivalry. Tennessee fans are ticked right now because of what happened last year. Is that going to be sustainable moving forward? Do we have a real heat now between Carolina and Tennessee? We'll discuss that next on the Sports Source.